information communication. In any case, when we do the design, the concept, it has to have an overall identity related to our previous project. And because it has more than 20 locations, so besides the identity, we also need to adapt to each individual context. So this creates the whole system. So your strategy with the context, basically the relationship, whether you want to be contrast or harmonic, how to take advantage of each location, and how to adapt to each unique context. So you have to define and decide the places where to fix, to attach, or to stand on the totem of other issues, other things. So we first should look at the spatial conditions. If we only talking about the pure abstract spatial conditions, we have lots of something, and we have linear elements, we have surface elements. It could be wall, posts, and beams, and then mixed together to become corner conditions. Like this is a corner condition with two surfaces, that corner with a three-corner surface condition. And it's not only this way, but it can also be popped out. So, and also can be mixed condition with surface and beams. Besides, after you discuss study the spatial conditions, then try to figure out which is the best way to cooperate with the spatial conditions. Whether you would have the structure fully affiliate on the current space, or you have a fully independent structure, or you have a semi-independent structure. You will be against it or not. So this is that the relationship with the context. So for example, this is if there's a column, if you want to use this, take advantage of this column, this could be affiliated structure, right? You try to use it. It could also be just applied on the surface, for example, on wall or on floor, or even on ceiling. Once it's on ceiling, it's a little bit like a three-dimensional spatial experience can be created. This is like a semi-independent. It's not fully applied or attached on one surface or on the existing spatial elements, but it needs to collaborate with the existing column or other spatial elements, and itself is a halfway independent structure. And this is like a fully independent structure. The way they design the information in different surfaces, and it continuously, simultaneously become a structure, become a foot. And this is like mixed. If we say this white wall is existing condition, then this black letters kind of apply on it, attach on it, but here at the end it's self-standing alone structure. And also you can, with a variety of conditions, with surface, with popping out. And also when we design, there are a lot of arrows, probably we need to guide people. There are different ways to guide. Besides to draw a two-dimensional arrow, maybe you can make it a little bit like a three-dimensional volumetric thing, or even just tutor the boards. So we talked about the corner condition just now. So it's like this could be the corner condition. This is also one of the corner conditions. How would you take advantage of it? Structure strategy. In any case, if we have a three-dimensional totem, it could be standalone or halfway affiliated, but we need a structure. I would propose that if we can do modular design, maybe it will be easier. Modular design is like you use simple, smaller elements to create a bigger structure. So, how to connect them together is a very interesting see in the nature that in the shell, it's actually the same, similar to the same module, but with different scale, that it becomes a very interesting structure. Same applies here in the bridge, which is basically the cluster triangle condition. Then this is also another one. If you look at each element, actually each module is just a simple triangle condition. But then they can create a bigger structure, which is quite interesting. And this is also what we saw just now. It's a triangle thing. Then one of the good things with modules is that you can add on, you can adapt relatively easily to different scenarios. For material construction, I would emphasize that we should try to work with the real material. It is a mock-up, it is some fabric force, but I would say with real materials and at full size. This means that the construction should express clearly the nature, the performance, the strength, factors of the chosen material. That, for example, if you are working with wood, try to take advantage of the wood characters. Here is the example of typical wood structure, traditional wood structure in Chinese buildings that we have dougong. Basically, it's a wood structure trying to cantilever the roof far away, could be 3 meters far away. So it uses smaller modules to create a bigger structure, simultaneously really work with the wood very well. So this is what you see in a very nice example. This is the oldest temple existing in China from Tang Dynasty. Then here, so when we say try to work with the nature of the wood material, it's not try to use other material to imitate the wood. Here is basically the opposite, that this Chinese pavilion for Shanghai Expo, that it took the element, the form issue from the local, from the traditional Chinese roof, but structured and built up with the concrete and with the steel structure. So this is talking about with the real material. Then for the material choices, whether you want to choose pure virgin new material or recycled material, that could be 3 categories. One is work 100% full recycled materials. That means you include joints. That's also recycled materials. Or you use a full 100% virgin new material, or in between. I'll show you examples of if we use just the recycled materials. This is someone we did before with other class that and she used recycled CD, the disc, compact disc, to create a structure. So everything is worked with just the recycled materials, including the joints, how they can make up create a structure. So eventually this is a huge structure. And another example is, yes? Oh, sorry. That we mentioned before. Okay.
I want to give this PowerPoint.
Okay. Sorry.
Maybe not.
From
I
here,
should have asked.
restart or from where to restart?
Maybe I should own what I am with.
I think it's so useful.
高铁已经新了吗 until here. And then corner condition I just showed. And the structure we saw.
Professor Tangji.
Okay, from here we have structure.
You know what it means, Tangji in Chinese?
What do you mean?
What it means, Tangji.
Structure.
This Chinese word, what it means.
One of the nature actually work with modular and scaling to build a bigger structure. So modular is that you work with simple and smaller elements but create a bigger structure. Here is like in the shell, typical. You see it's a repetitive of structure and different scaling and to become a more comprehensive structure. Same applied here in the bridge. That it's a simple truss and the basic module is like triangle, but it would be able to create a much bigger structure. Then here is like you can see that each module is a triangle surface, very simple. However, it can create a quite complex, comprehensive surface, and it can even be joined together. Eventually become a spatial shelter. And this is also like use the module with the triangle, working with the triangle, then you can adapt to different scenarios. And one good thing with the module is that you can add it on, you can extend it. So it's relatively flexible. Then material construction. When we talk about material construction, I would like to emphasize work with the real material. So, of course, on beverage floor, it is a mock-up, but it is actually a real construction with real material at full size. So, for example, if you work with wood, use wood, you work with the nature of the wood material to express the better than that. This is like the traditional Chinese wood building architecture that we have quite far roof cantilever tradition. And they work with smaller modules, different wood pieces together, and the cantilever can be as far as 3 meters or even up to 4 meters. So this is what you can see, the roof condition. It's a gigantic building, but actually work from the very small elements and with very good with the material. And this is a kind of the opposite. That this is a Chinese pavilion in the Shanghai Expo. Instead, they took the image of the roof, the big roof, but realized with the steel structure, which is completely not the same language. Okay, then talking about material, what kind of material can you choose? Whether you choose the pure virgin new material or you will have the recycled material, or you have in between. I would say you probably, if we work 100% recycled material, that could also be quite interesting. Some of you probably did a workshop last year with me. So just to remind you that for the full recycled materials, these include also joints. So all the joints also should be recycled material. Or of course the other is you use pure new material or in between. So this is the example that I want to show you with the
No, why your country like the Chinese?
We used to have Chinese word before a long time ago.
So you can write Chinese.
No.
Okay, this is
some young people
when we talk
they
about
study
joints,
to
you
write
can think of
Chinese word.
when you use recycled material,
Some
joints
kind of art.
are unconnected. conventional, not very.
Not in drafting like this,
You
but
have to
you
work in
have to
a
use.
way. This is basically using the.
You need to study to learn.
How you screw it so it become a joint.
Crazy.
In the new year,
Another one is an example with compact CD, the disc CD, and work only with the CDs. How it would create joints together to create a bigger structure.
dimension. Good. What's that mean?
This is also another project worked with bottles, pet bottles, and recycled chopsticks. So the joints, how you make up basically small module components, each component how you create is very important.
Wow.
So eventually it's a structure like that big.
I can write this kind of words also in English. You can listen also in English.
I see rewriting is better than I don't know how to write it.
You have to study together.
Construction.
Okay, so these two examples of the fully recycled materials. They're also unconventional materials. One is with working with textile and using woven techniques. Okay, so because we are temporary project, so you can try to use it with different material because we don't need to last for years. This is with fabric, or trying to use the woven technique to create information and space and experience. And because our temporary project meant to last only maximum 3 days, so thus the installation and uninstallation should be easy and fast, which means the joints are key. No heavy machines are allowed, so you have to work with the joints. I would suggest that we have to design from the very beginning with the installation and uninstallation issues. So design for disassembly. As we talk about the life is only 1 to 3 days, so we have to talk about the whole life cycle. Because when we have a project somewhere here for 1 to 3 days, the project, before that we need to have resource, we consume a lot of resource, energy, and also produce a lot of waste till we have this 1 to 3 days project. And afterwards, how it would go. So I would like that if we can design for here as well, after these 3 days, like what your project would do. So we need to think the project from the whole life cycle to the input and output of all aspects to study the environmental impacts. Currently, basically, we are consuming 1.5 globe averagely on this planet, which means we consume in 12 months, the Earth needs 18 months to grow back. And most of us are doing the linear economic, that every step from the resource taking to the use and disposal, we design the post-usage, that we need to design an ongoing process. Because ultimately, our current design becomes waste. What is waste? Waste are basically unwanted or unsuitable materials, or is discarded after the first primary use. But we live in a design world. Everything we make, we use, and discard has been designed by somewhere. Almost all these items are unsustainable. Because although they designed to last 1 minute to 150 years, but the materials and the substance designed to last 150 years to 150,000 years, which would emit all kinds of impact to the environment. So eventually it all becomes waste to our environment, to the soil, water, and air. So we have to understand the waste is not necessary, and that we have the power to eliminate it. So whenever you do something, you have to think, how do you get rid of it? It's not simply going to land you. How do you get rid of it? So for every design project, I would say the trash can is your true client. So in that case, we need to design the whole life cycle, including the post-usage stage. That means after installation, how to recycle all the materials. The bottom line goal is that make sure all the disassembled material can be recycled according to the current municipal waste management system in Milan. In this case, the municipal recycle bins are your final clients. Or you have a higher pursuit that you can reuse or recycle the components and the materials in other locations and scenarios. But you have to design it in advance and intentionally. Okay, this is a project quite interesting. It was all this material from the virgin trees then cut and processed and become a pavilion for Helsinki Design Week. Then someone did afterwards, because after this design week, a week of exhibition, all the wood pieces, planks, take down. So the designer did something like, how do you work with it? He basically used these pieces to create some experience, which is quite interesting. So in a way, it's the opposite of what we are talking just now. And there's some. Here are some material, some source for trying to check out the sustainability of materials. Function-wise, because this is being placed in the public space, so it needs to be a certain sturdy, strong, a little bit strong that people touch it, it will still stand there, and kids may be bumping it, how would you do? And also, I would say because it's outdoor, so we need to review the weather for 1 to 3